Thank you, Madam Chair. If cybercrime were measured as a nation, it would be the third largest economy in the world, costing about $10 trillion every year, up from just $3 trillion 10 years ago. It is a threat that the federal government must take seriously. The transportation sector is often targeted by cyber criminals. No mode of transportation is immune. A 2021 ransomware attack rendered inoperable the Colonial Pipeline, which carries about 45% of the East Coast's fuel. Airlines, pilots' unions, and airports globally have also all been hacked. While the Port of Seattle recovers from the August hack, it appears travelers were largely spared from widespread disruptions. I look forward to hearing from SeaTac Managing Director Lance Little on how the airport responded and any lessons learned. I will note that Mr. Little spent 5 years working for the Houston airport system before going to SeaTac, so I'd like to extend a special welcome to him. Airlines, airports, and avionics manufacturers invest heavily to fortify their technology systems and to protect data. Cyber defenses are expensive and ever-evolving due to the nature of cyber threats. But we should be cautious about placing too much faith in more regulation and reporting requirements to protect us. I am concerned about the dozens of potentially duplicative cybersecurity reporting requirements that regulated entities must already comply with. There may be a better or more effective way to keep critical infrastructure secure than more box-checking compliance activities. Skepticism about new compliance burdens is well-founded. The federal government itself has a lousy track record of protecting data from cyber attacks. Millions of Americans' data have been stolen in government hacks over the past 10 years. And yet the law today gives the federal government more than double the amount of time a private entity has to report a cybersecurity incident. In many cases, federal agencies have little understanding of how regulated industries work. For example, when the Transportation Security Administration first issued security directives on cybersecurity requirements for pipelines, many of the mandates were impractical and had been designed without any private sector input. The TSA set unrealistic timelines for pipeline operators to effectively overhaul their cybersecurity practices and applied cybersecurity requirements typically required for computers, such as updating passwords, to things like sensors that monitor pipeline processes. TSA's security directives created so much confusion that the agency received an unprecedented number, more than 380, of alternate measure requests from operators. Had TSA used a regular rulemaking process with notice and comment, rather than issuing directives to industry without input, those mistakes might have been avoided. On the subject of TSA, I'm pleased the committee is holding a hearing related to aviation security. But we should be looking more closely at TSA's operations as well. For example, more than a year ago, I began an oversight investigation into why 3 mayors of left-wing sanctuary cities were using commercial airports to house thousands of illegal aliens. Not surprisingly, the Biden-Harris administration continues their delay tactics and has yet to provide all of the information that I have requested. The Department of Homeland Security, including TSA, has failed to produce documents and communications requested about the potential security threats illegal aliens pose to airports and airport facilities. Additionally, the FAA has failed to provide requested communications between it and other federal entities about the housing of illegal aliens at airports. Separately, I worked with Senators Merkley and Kennedy on an amendment to the FAA reauthorization on TSA's use of facial recognition technologies at passenger checkpoints. The TSA begged members of Congress to allow for continued facial recognition with no guardrails. Chair Cantwell, I know you offered to Senator Merkley to hold a hearing on this and other topics. I think that's a great idea. The TSA and the DHS must be more collaborative in their work, especially their rulemaking. I look forward to hearing from today's witnesses on their experience working with the TSA on cyber issues and how we can do more to keep the aviation sector safe.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Again, welcome to our witnesses today. We'll start with you, Mr. Little, and if you would please begin, 5 minutes of comments.
Chair Cantwell,